So hey guys, welcome to another video, and the WoW developers are furiously giving out interviews now, and it's understandable. They've just announced another expansion to World of Warcraft, and every website wants an interview with one of the WoW devs. And MMO Champion is the best, hands down. They have a very nice post that summarizes everything that has been said in these interviews. Very good. And in this video I want to talk about the possible class changes we may or may not get with the release of World of Warcraft Legion. So first of all, there is no stat squish planned for Legion. And with damage, I think it's alright. I think damage is cool. And if it goes up by a bit, I think that's going to be fine. What I'm more worried about is health. Because I remember our tanks, as we went through the different raids, their health went up incredibly fast. And in the Citadel, they were at like 600, 700k health already. And if their health were to go up as fast as it did in Warlords, we're looking at sort of 2 mil health tanks by the end of Legion. And I don't think that's fun. And I would like them to do another squish, but I would like them to do it properly this time, sort of Wrath of the Lich King numbers. It was alright in Warlords, but I would go even further. We're sort of at Cataclysm levels of damage, and somewhere between Cataclysm and Pandaria levels of health. I would just like to go back to Wrath of the Lich King numbers, and I would like to keep it that way until the end of the expansion. But there is a problem, because now we have multiple raid difficulties. So if you go from one raid to another, because of these different difficulties, the gear has to be significantly better, because people wouldn't go there. And because of this, because the gear has to be so much better in the next raid compared to the old raid, we are getting huge power spikes with each raid. And that just nullifies the stat squish really freaking fast. So that's kind of a problem, isn't it? Yes, it is. Next, they're not quite sure if they want to add another row of talents for level 110 because of the artifact weapons. Because the artifact weapons will have their own talent trees of sorts. And personally, I would like them to add another one. It's just more variety, and hopefully they can come up with something really cool. But I won't be mad if they don't add another row of talents. Because we will have the artifacts, we will have different things to focus on, like the PvP talent tree. So whether or not they add it, I'm kind of indifferent about that. I'll be happy if they do, and I won't be angry if they don't. And finally, moving on to some actual class changes. Alright, some reworks. Let's talk about hunters. So what they want to do is to make survival hunters a melee class with the pet. Beast mastery hunters, they will pretty much stay the same, a ranged class with a pet. And marksmanship hunters will be a ranged class without a pet. So you'll be basically playing lone wolf all the time if you're marksman. And I think this might be the best thing that ever happened to hunters, since they made like pets level up instantly with you and made it so that you don't have to catch random pets to learn their abilities and then teach them to your normal pet, which would take like 2 or 3 days. Because all 3 of the hunter specs right now are very samey. I know I boosted a hunter with the level 90 boost in Pandaria, and when we finally got into Warlords, I was like, alright, survival is not my thing, let's try marksman. I was like, well, this is survival, it just has aim shot and chimera shots. I was like, let's try beast mastery, and it's like, oh, it's like survival and marksman, it just has kill command. So it wasn't very interesting for me. Essentially, you have 3 specs, but they are the same. It's one spec, it just has different names for its buttons, but you essentially have the same buttons. When you compare the 3 hunter specs to the 3 warlock specs or mage specs, their specs are completely different. You can't really compare a demonology warlock to affliction warlock or destruction warlock. You just cannot do that. Their playstyle is completely different. And I love the idea of playing a melee hunter. First of all, there is Rexxar, right? Big lore dude. Very cool, I like Rexxar. But in Guild Wars 2, I have an alt, and it's a ranger. And it's just, rangers are hunters, right? But I play with a 2-handed sword. So I have a pet and I have a 2-handed sword, and I am a melee ranger. I really like the idea of being a melee hunter. I just do. And, you know, Raptor Strike, Wing Clip. What was the other one? Like Counter Strike that was only available after like you dodged or parried or some stupid thing like that. Oh, the nostalgia. I just love the idea of being a melee hunter, and if I decide to play that expansion and buy it, I might even play my hunter. Finally. Moving on from hunters to demonology warlocks. They are getting a rework. Big surprise! Why would that be? Well, we now have demonology rogues in the form of demon hunters, and they have metamorphosis. So they need to do something about that, because warlocks can't have it now. So they want to move away from becoming a demon to summoning loads of demons. And once again, I'm going to compare it to Guild Wars 2 because my main is a necromancer, and I kind of like being a minion monster with 5 pets around me, right? 5 of these disgusting things floating around, killing things. And as I'm killing things, I'm summoning more things. I'm just swarming the area. I like that playstyle. I think it's very interesting. And I always found it really weird that you are a demonology warlock. You are specialized in summoning demons, and you have one of them. Then they added the imps, but they're kind of wank. They don't do any damage. They just give you molten core procs for metamorphosis. So having more demons running around and swarming things, I think that's way cooler. But once again, that's just my opinion. I like the idea of having a bunch of demons instead of turning into a demon as a warlock. If you want to do that, you can be a demon hunter. I think it fits them better than demonology warlocks. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I think it's way cooler to have a lot of demons. And currently the final change they would like to implement is with discipline priests, and I don't think this one is gonna make it into the game, because they will realize that it doesn't work. What they want to do with discipline priests is that they want to make them into a hybrid, so they're sort of 50% damage, 50% healing. Okay, instead of being a healer or a DPS class. So it looks like they want to bring back Atonement, but make it more interactive. So you buff people with heals, and then you use Atonement to heal them, and you will sort of be doing 50% of the regular DPS damage and 50% of the regular healer healing. But that doesn't mean that they are sort of a niche class that you will bring when you need a little bit more DPS or a little bit more healing. It just means they suck at both. That's what it is. And they're kind of talking about fist-weaving monks, but there is a reason why fist-weaving monks work. It's because they can switch from being a mistweaver into a fist-weaver in the middle of a fight. You can't do that with a discipline priest. Alright, if you're a monk and you want to heal, and there is a certain phase of the fight where you can go and you can punch things and it doesn't really matter, you can sacrifice a bit of healing to do a bit of damage, that's fine. You can't do that with the discipline priest. You will always do sort of 50% damage, 50% healing. You will always suck at both. And it's gonna end up being just one priest in the raid. You will never have a discipline priest in your raid team. You will have a holy priest in your raid team, which will remain the same and will be all about healing from what I've read. And if you have a fight where you don't really need all that healing and you could use a bit of DPS, they will switch into discipline. That's how it's going to work. You will never have a dedicated discipline priest in your raid. Why would you? Why would you bring a spec that sucks at both doing damage and healing people? I don't think this one is going to make it into the game. It's a cool idea, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't work with the Holy Trinity that we have in WoW. And that's it for this video. What do you think about these changes? Tell me in the comment section right now. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.